Okay guys, so I know I said my next Let's Talk would be on something anime related, but considering I've gotten a lot of questions and emails about this particular subject, some things are better left unanswered until a later date. Well guys, if you remember a year ago, I did a Let's Talk on a possible remake of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World, and ever since I did that video, I've gotten a lot of emails from fans of the book saying what they would want for a potential remake. While I stated my thoughts on a possible new big-budget adaptation, many fans in the comments section would also love to see a modern take on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's novel, The Lost World. The 1925 silent film is an influential classic, but many still find that the 2001 BBC film is more rewatchable, while most despise the other adaptations of the story for the past 95 years. And I was completely shocked by the negative backlash against the 1998 Lost World, and while it is kind of a guilty pleasure for me, I will admit it does kinda suck. Now in terms of the 1990 adaptation starring John Rhys Davies as Professor Challenger, well, while the movie had literally no budget for the dinosaurs, there is one positive aspect to that film. And that's that John Rhys Davies can say The Lost World really, really cool.
The Lost World. Lost World. Lost World.
I don't know why, I just think the way he says it is fucking awesome. Also, a lot of people fear that with so many remakes and reboots today, most audiences might not take kindly to the proposition, even if it's well made and well marketed. And while many have commented on some bright ideas, there was one comment in particular that really drew my attention. Huey Two-More of Huey's Animated Movie Reviews sent me a recent voicemail discussing some of my suggestions that many seem to disagree on. And given I like to interact with my viewers and their comments, I'd figured I'd explain, defend, and fix my suggestions on a possible remake of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. So, let's see what Huey has to say.
Number 1. Don't pick Fox. Fox is a terrible choice to make The Lost World. They already up in 1960 and in 2003 by dubbing over the dinosaurs in the Walking with Dinosaurs movie.
Okay, maybe it was because I was rushing to get this episode out, but in a sense I do kind of agree. 20th Century Fox has always been considered that really strict teacher of the Hollywood market. Many franchises that they give to certain filmmakers, they're heavily strict on, and anything that they don't like, they'll cut out entirely. With examples like the recent Ridley Scott Alien Covenant, the last Fantastic Four film, hell, even George Lucas's own Star Wars got a lot of strict rules and regulations during the production in 1976. But given the fact that Disney has bought out Fox, that might change a bit. But honestly, if it's not going to be 20th Century Fox, I would give the rights to a studio like Warner Brothers, because they at least try to have fun with some of their monster films.
Number 2. Don't you dare make The Lost World a horror movie. Do you want to shit on Doyle's grave like the terrible 1998 insult of a film did? Dinosaurs are already scary enough. No need to piss off paleontologists.
Okay, now this concept mostly comes from my childhood perspective. When I was a kid, dinosaurs were awesome, and I loved the shit out of them. But then there were a couple that really scared the shit out of me. And that's mostly due to the fact of being exposed at a really young age to some horror dinosaur films like Jurassic Park and Carnosaur. And in recent years, dinosaurs haven't always been as thrilling as they used to be. With such films as Disney's Dinosaur and the Walking with Dinosaur features, it's been really difficult to get that aspect of fear in the creatures that I grew up with. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to see The Lost World go for more of a horror film aspect. Because I want my dinosaurs to be kinda scary again. Yeah, they're vicious animals, and we're obviously thrilled and wondered by them, but there's also a sense of real fear when they're around them. Kinda like great white sharks after Jaws came out. So yeah, while dinosaurs are fantastic, there's still a sense of monstrosity and horror to the aspect of these creatures.
Number 3. Get a paleontologist who isn't Jack Horner to consult with for the film.
Now this is something a lot of fans of the book have agreed on, is that they want something a little more historically accurate. For most of the visual media, dinosaurs have been portrayed as giant bipedal lizards that go around killing people. Hell, seeing something like a Komodo dragon or a crocodile, everybody instantly thinks of a dinosaur. But in most recent years, no doubt thanks to the likes of Jurassic Park, dinosaurs have been more scientifically accurate to be more related to birds. Hell, discovering that really blew my mind as a kid. But I think a lot of fans would like to see the dinosaurs in this adaptation be more scientifically accurate, having the likes of feathers and not being as intimidating, but more animalistic. And with actual big-budget dinosaur movies like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom moving into the horror genre, it would be wise for The Lost World to stick more to the accuracy.
Number 4. Don't have Ridley Scott direct the film. He's pretty hit and miss these days. I mean, Robin Hood, Prometheus, and Exodus aren't really looked well upon by filmgoers. My opinion, pick an up-and-coming director, someone new, someone who can make a name for himself by directing a Lost World remake.
Okay, now my reasons for picking Ridley Scott as the director is more on a visual aspect. One of the things I've come to admire about Ridley Scott is how visually stunning his films are, from the likes of Alien, Gladiator, and fucking Blade Runner. And again, going into the horror aspects of a Lost World adaptation, I was seeing a horror tone much similar to the likes of the first Alien film. And again, I was kind of biased about picking him, mostly because I saw the trailer for Alien Covenant and figured, wow, this would be great visuals for a Lost World film. But sadly, as most people have said, the movie did kinda suck.
You done fucked it up! Damn it!
Much like the films of the 1970s, a lot of films nowadays by big-time directors have kinda slumped. And in the past few years, we've seen more younger filmmakers take on big-budget franchises in order to find the next generation of movie makers. And I agree on that sense that a new adaptation of The Lost World should go to a younger filmmaker. Hell, I'd say go for somebody who's actually a fan of the book. While most studios will butcher a book adaptation, giving it to a young filmmaker would actually be a good idea because he could try to be as accurate to the book as possible. Hell, Jurassic Park is in no way a proper adaptation of the book, because if it was, it probably would get a hard R.
Number 5. Agathyrmus wasn't a real dinosaur, so don't use it.
Well, honestly, I wish they would use this creature in some sort of dinosaur film. I will admit, yeah, it doesn't really fit here. Maybe have a joke about it to make reference, but this creature feels like something more out of Planet of the Dinosaurs more than The Lost World. And finally, yes, I will agree, this cliche has been done to death.
Number 6. Do not have a dinosaur rampage through London. It's been done to death. Plus, Challenger wouldn't be stupid enough to bring something that dangerous back to London. Unlike Carl Denham, he's a scientist, not a showman. Just have the ending from the book where a pterosaur escapes.
The concept of bringing a dinosaur to the mainland has been so overused that I think it's time for a bit of a change in the climax of a dinosaur film. And with Warner Brothers' legendary Monsterverse in the works, we won't be denied a proper Monster City mash a few times. And yeah, maybe having a pteranodon on display would be a much better concept to go on, and it would be more adaptive to the book. Hell, in terms of tone, why don't you put it on par with the tales of adventurer Douglas Burden, who discovered the mythical dragons in the islands of Komodo, captured them, and brought them to civilization, only to see them perish very quickly in their environment. That alone would give the film much more of a lesson on animals in captivity, as well as giving it kind of a sad ending with this poor pteranodon. I know it seems a little anticlimactic, but it would be kinda cool. Just don't make the pteranodon have a dogfight with a bunch of air jets or some stupid shit that the Asylum would put out. Yeah, save that shit for a Rodan movie. But overall, guys, yeah, I will admit I made some mistakes in my choices for an adaptation of The Lost World, but I was just speaking my mind, and if I offended in any way, I do apologize. I'm just one of those people who wants to see a new big-budget adaptation of the Arthur Conan Doyle novel, because honestly, we haven't had a good adaptation since the 1925 silent film. So if they decide to do a remake or an adaptation of the book, I'm all for it. But honestly, if we don't get it, there are the likes of the BBC film and even the Steven Spielberg sequel to Jurassic Park that honestly are still pretty damn good. And considering how many books have had adaptations, this one, in my perspective, rightfully deserves an update. And that's my thoughts on a remake of The Lost World, and I have to thank Huey2more for sending me his voicemail and giving his suggestions on a possible remake. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. What would you want to see in a remake of The Lost World? Let me know in the comment section below. So until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms, signing off.